What figure are we talking about? Oh, we're talking about the Jet Trooper from Rise of Skywalker. This is Economist. Let's jump right into it. What is going on, welcome back to another video. This is 6Scale Economist. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Jet Trooper from the Rise of Skywalker. As always, first we're going to talk about this figure from a collector's perspective, and then we're going to talk about it from an investment perspective. From a collector's perspective, don't like this figure. This figure's not doing anything for me. Didn't like this movie. Don't like this figure. I don't think they look cool. I get that they were trying to do something unique with the look. Didn't work for me. And on top of it, this figure just looks so basic. The jetpack looks weak. I guess the gun's kind of cool, but I don't know. But this was the scene where they were like jumping around. I've seen every Star Wars, like I've seen Revenge of the Sith over 15 times. I've seen Empire Strikes Back over 15 times. I saw the Rise of Skywalker once in movie theaters. First night it came out. Never saw it again. Have no intention of doing it. I'm pretty sure this is the scene where they're like chasing them and he like jumps off of the whatever to like attack the whoever. This figure is boring, and this figure is not interesting to me. Taking a look at everything that he comes with, he basically doesn't come with that much at all. He comes with the hands, standard display base, and a jetpack that I don't think looks that cool. I guess they look. It looks like kind of like a clean look. But yeah, that's basically all. That's it from a collector's perspective. I don't really have that much to say about it. I know like I'm a very big Star Wars fan. I usually have very high things to say about Star Wars. This is a sequel figure. So let's just jump right into it from an investment perspective. Sleep on this figure. I always say there's a lot of figures, don't sleep on them. Sleep on this figure. Sit tight. I was falling asleep just thinking about doing a video on this one. From an investment perspective, this figure is not going to do well. This is Hot Toys doing their licensing deal with Disney. Disney is telling them, look, we made this movie, you have to promote it, you have to make figures for us. Their hands are tied and they're just making this figure for us. I think that they very well expect not that many people to pick up this figure. And what if this figure is undersupplied? It probably is going to be undersupplied, and that's not going to make a difference. The figure is not going to do well from an investment perspective at all. Like, honestly, it's kind of nice when Hot Toys gives us like these lob balls where it's just so easy to just step out of the way and just know I'm definitely not picking up this figure. I don't know anybody who's picking up this figure. If you are, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm curious to know like why you are picking up this figure. If you just really like Rise of Skywalker, that totally makes sense to me. I mean, fans will be fans. Buy whatever you like. But just know if you're buying this figure, you are going to get hurt from an investment perspective for sure. There's no way this figure stays above, ever gets above retail, and I doubt like if you're ever able to sell this figure, you're going to lose money on it. It's probably just gonna get worse and worse. A great example of this is this listing that sold not too long ago. Obviously, this was loose troopers, but this is 5 First Order Stormtroopers. These are Hot Toys. These are not Black Series figures. These are Hot Toys, and it sold for $400. That's less than $100 per figure. Like, that is what happens to these sequel troopers. There is no bid for them. People do not want these figures. They cannot get rid of them in the Facebook groups, right? Like the Jedi Finn sells for like $100 in Facebook groups. First Order Stormtroopers are everywhere. If you want a First Order Stormtrooper and you put like an in search of listing in a Facebook group, your message box is going to break. There are so many people that are trying to get rid of these figures. People will trip over themselves to get 70% back of what they paid for them. If you are a Star Wars fan and you are definitely picking up this figure, I caution you, just if you can be patient, just wait until this figure comes out, and this figure is going to sit in stock forever. Unless they just incredibly undersupply it, which I'm guessing they probably can't, because I imagine there's some type of deal with Disney where they have to produce X amount of figures depending on the movie, and this is obviously like one of their trademark films from a trademark series for Disney. So I imagine this figure is going to be supplied quite well. This figure is going to be everywhere. Anybody that's picking up this figure, I imagine there are going to be a ton of people that are quickly going to realize that they don't want it in their collection. They're going to flood the Facebook groups with it. This is a no-brainer. Sleep on it. Don't pick it up. If you're going to pick it up at retail, just if you can, I would advise move that deposit elsewhere. Go put it in a Mandalorian figure. That's going to do much better. Use that relative value. And then like this is another thing that I always think about from an investment perspective that is very important. Say you are a really big fan of the sequels, and there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, especially a lot of like the younger generation. I know some people really do like the sequels. And if you're a big fan of Rise of Skywalker and you thought that scene was awesome and you really want this figure in your collection, if you can just be patient, don't pay retail for it. Instead, go take that money and put it into a figure that is going to do very well in the secondary market, like Commander Cody, for example. Go put that money into Commander Cody. Even if you don't want Commander Cody, you can put that money into Commander Cody, hold it, and by the time Cody and Jet Trooper have both been out for a couple of months, I'd imagine you will be able to sell your Cody, especially if Cody is sold out by that point. You'll be able to sell that Cody for $350, maybe even more. Sell that, go buy that Jet Trooper. Not only are you going to be buying that Jet Trooper, but you're going to be buying it for less than retail. I am almost positive of that. These figures are going to be around just a few months after this figure comes out in Facebook groups, people just trying to sell them. What you're doing there is this relative value analysis. You're basically taking a long short position. Like when you are investing, say you are very bullish on Apple. You really like Apple right now, and you think that they're expected to be earnings, and you think that whatever investment theses you have, you think Apple is really going to outperform. And then say on the flip side, say you think, I don't know, like a comparative company, say Google. Say you think that you're really bearish on Google, and you think Google is going to miss earnings, whatever you think they're just gonna, they're gonna underperform in their quarterly earnings, and you think that's actually a short. What hedge funds will do is they'll go long Apple, so they'll go buy a bunch of Apple, and then to wedge their risk and hedge their risk, they'll go short Google. And so you can basically apply the same methodology to the Jet Trooper or any of these other troopers or any of these other figures, especially sequel figures that are probably not going to do well in the secondary market, and use that investment thesis for other good figures. Even if it's a figure that you don't want, like Cody, say you don't even like the prequels and you don't want Cody or you don't want Qui-Gon. From an investment perspective and how you grow your collection in the most financially savvy way is you buy that figure that's going to do well, and you wait on the figures that are not going to do well, and you're basically creating almost like a long short position. I wish you could short Hot Toys. I wish there was a way that you could do it. If you could short Hot Toys, I would totally look into doing something like that. And for those of you that don't know what shorting is, shorting a stock or shorting a bond is selling something that you don't own. So the best way that I would explain this is, say Apple right now is trading at $300 a share, and you think that Apple is going to go down in price. But how do you take a view on your investment thesis? What you do is you short it. So what you do is you sell Apple or short it, even though you don't own it. And essentially you have the obligation to a broker that you are going to return that share to them at any point in the future. So say it's trading at $300 and you think, wow, that's really overpriced. Apple shouldn't be trading there. It should be at $250. You would short it. You would immediately get $300. And then your liability is that you now owe somebody one share of Apple. So say in 6 months, Apple does underperform in stocks and, their earnings, whatever happens, it underperforms. And now the share price is at $250. You would then buy that one share of Apple back at $250. And remember, you got $300 when you entered into the short position when you sold it. And then you would take that share and you would deliver it to the broker or, the counterparty that you shorted, to the broker that you shorted the stock with. So you basically, what's your net gain? Your net gain is $50, and that's basically what shorting is. And you can apply the same methodology to Hot Toys. If there is a figure like Jet Trooper that is not going to do well in the secondary market because the historical evidence is absolutely overwhelming for sequel troopers, and figures that are likely going to do well, like a Commander Cody, even if you don't want it, just buy it, hold it, and by the time both these figures are trading in the secondary market, you'll be able to sell Cody at a profit, and on top of it, you'd be able to buy Jet Trooper at a discount, thereby going long something you're bullish on and shorting something you're bearish on. Okay, I know I wrapped it up with a bit of a rant, but I think it's something really interesting that I always keep in mind when I'm looking at Hot Toys from an investment perspective. But as always, these are just my thoughts on the Jet Trooper. Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you guys picking up this Jet Trooper? Are you guys fans of the sequels and you think that this is definitely one that you want to have in your collection? And if you are, do you agree and understand my logic for why you shouldn't be pre-ordering this figure and just waiting? As always, this is 6Scale Economist. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're on the road to 1,000 subs. And as always, buy the dip, sell the rip. This is the way. We'll see you in the next video.